Hello there. Right, I've had a good shot of both. Matthew's had only a good shot of that because we had issues with this one, the electric one. You only had a very short shot of this one, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it looks like it went into thermal shutdown.
Yeah, that was the problem
with
with
a good run
it.
of this one though.
We did. So, we'll talk about the problem with this one in a little while. First things first, were you impressed with them? Did you like them? What were your thoughts?
Oh, it went well. That's very similar to, if not the same as our Outlaws.
Yeah, same platform.
Just a different body shell.
Different wheels and tyres.
Yeah, different wheels and tyres. But yeah, no, I was impressed. Yeah, surprisingly quite impressed with the Nitro one. I didn't think I would be as impressed as I was with it.
You've never driven a Nitro before, ever.
No.
So it wasn't too bad to start today. It was okay.
No, I think I didn't have to go through the process of running it in.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't the easiest thing to start either.
But here's the thing. You're supposed to replace the glow plug after you've run it in because the glow plug that's included gets fouled by the running in process.
Alright.
This is running the original glow plug.
So do they give you a spare glow plug
No.
for it? No.
You have to buy it. But glow plugs are cheap. They're like £3.50.
Right, okay.
So, or £4 or something. So that's the running the original one. It's probably a bit fouled, and we did notice once it was sitting and idling for a few seconds, if you accelerate, sometimes it bogged down a bit, which usually suggests a problem with the low speed adjustment. But I think it's more the fact that we have a knackered glow plug because you're supposed to replace it after running and we haven't.
Right.
So,
Well, you live and you learn.
yep. Do you like the Nitro? What's your thoughts on the Nitro?
I do like the Nitro. I like leaving a trail of smoke behind.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
very satisfying.
the sound, especially when you get into top end and it's just screaming. Yeah, I do like it. The only thing, not the only thing, but one of the things is the steering circle on this.
Would that be a turning circle?
The turning circle.
Turning circle is appalling.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's really, really poor. It needs a big, but then it does traction roll a bit.
Yeah.
On the grass, it traction rolls occasionally, not too bad. On the dirt, what you can do, Matthew, is kick a bit of brakes to slide the back end out, and you can get it to turn actually quite tight, which you can't do in grass because it would just traction roll.
Yeah.
So I think if we were driving it on a loose, gravelly surface, that turning circle thing's not going to be a problem because it slide it out.
The brake on it as well is pretty good.
It's pretty fierce, yeah.
Yeah, so you need to be quite delicate with it.
I was being quite rough with it, but I suppose I was letting off the throttle and letting it coast just for a little bit before putting the brake on.
Yeah, I suppose when the first shot I had it was pretty lethal.
Yeah.
I think it almost endoed when I done it, but all in all, it is a good truck and it's pretty fairly priced for what it is.
So what about the electric?
Well, as
I mean,
I said, it's very similar to the Outlaw.
It's an Outlaw with a different shell,
yeah,
really.
I mean, it's the instant drive from the brushed motor, but it's the only thing with that is because it's a different platform to this. That one does roll over very easily.
Outlaw platform, Carnage platform, completely different. Independent suspension front and rear, independent front, solid axle rear. This rolls a lot. I was expecting it to roll over less than the Outlaw because it's not as high and the tyres aren't as tall, but it might have been because we were doing it on grass and that on loose gravel it'd be better, but I found it Outlaw it traction rolled more than the Outlaw.
Yeah.
But I think it's because most of the time running the Outlaw we did use it on gravel. Pretty sure that's what it was because it does have a lower centre of gravity, so it should naturally roll less.
Yeah.
The tyres might have more grip, which would cause more traction roll, but I don't think they do. It goes better than a stock Outlaw did, I'll give it that. The stock Outlaw had much bigger tyres and it was overgeared more, and we had thermal shutdowns very quickly on the Outlaw.
And also, it does
a couple
have
of
big
passes,
tyres.
It was like 2 or 3 passes and the Outlaw would stop. This one, you never got a good shot because it did have a thermal shutdown, but I'd been driving it for about 15 or 20 minutes by that point.
Yeah, another thing, I might have just been unlucky with my Outlaw in terms of, because this doesn't have any range issues either.
Yeah, well you had a faulty radial gear though.
Yeah.
This comes with better radial gear because of the new stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes better than a standard Outlaw brushed. It doesn't go anywhere near as good as the Nitro. No. It's much slower, which you'd expect. Obviously a brushless system would cure that, but this is quite an unstable platform. So I wouldn't recommend getting getting one of these and running it on brushless if you're going to run it on a high grip surface like the grass we were on or tarmac. It will just roll over.
Yeah, you won't get any enjoyment of it. It'll just be straight line speed, but as soon as you go to turn it, roll.
Yeah, so this is more loose surfaces, a bit of gravel, and these are great fun for that. The Outlaw is great fun for that, and this will really suit it. This doesn't suit gravel so much. This one's probably, if you're going to run it in a park, the Nitro's a better platform, or the Carnage platform's a better platform. I think the question on everybody's mind though, Matthew, is which one has the better looking body shell?
Oh, it's hard. I think this one.
Do you think so? I like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no,
I like this one because it's got black posts.
Which? Yeah.
Whereas you've got really.
I got very blue posts.
Yeah.
What car is your favourite?
I think I actually prefer this because it's different. Because it's not an Outlaw in disguise.
It's a Carnage in disguise.
Yeah, I know, but this as a Nitro is something different.
For you, it's something different.
Yeah,
but if you're a Nitro guy, it's something the same.
Yeah, I suppose.
If you're going to be objective about it,
I think there's more room to grow in that.
Yeah, this I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. I think from now, I would give them equal score because this one, it's more fun out of the box. It's better out of the box, I think, because it raises more smiles. There's something infinitely more fun about going faster and making noise and smoke while you're doing it. This is definitely slower and it rolls over more, so out of the box it doesn't drive as well.
This has a few little niggles as well though.
Yeah, that has a bit of build quality issue.
Build quality.
If also, I wobble the back wheels on this, they're solid, they don't wobble back and forth. Yeah. Wobble the back wheels on that one.
Yeah. So
it basically steers.
Yeah, there's
lots of wheel wobble.
Play. I mean, it doesn't.
I might turn that camera up. Hold on, just a second.
They're a bit of a pain to start when they're cold.
They are. It starts okay when it's hot, but it is more difficult.
When it's cold, it's a bit of a nightmare.
You're going to have an easier time of it with this one. Yeah. In terms of what you said, potential, upgradability, this has more of it, I think. With a Nitro, it's more difficult. You can fit a bigger engine, but it's more difficult. It might not physically fit. I don't know how upgradable a Nitro is, in all honesty. This one, simply put a more powerful brushless system in it, and it's away, and it'll work perfectly well from the start. So, as much as well as that, like you can bring that big tub of fuel with you, and you could run this a lot longer, as you said. Yeah, you can run it all day.
The only thing is you've got to constantly refuel it because the tank does drain pretty quickly.
5 minutes maybe. Yeah. So, but you've got to do lots of top ups. This one will get 15 minutes to a battery. That'll get 5 minutes to a tank. But a whole tub of nitro fuel you can be out all day. Yeah. Three batteries will last you half an hour to 45 minutes on this. Yeah. So it's
if you fit a brushless system, it might be a bit more efficient than the standard brushed motor.
Yeah.
Because that's not just as standard. You've got a lipo in it.
Yeah. This was actually slightly quicker than it would have been with the nickel metal hydride included because I put it on lipo mode and running a lipo. Yes. Yeah, I think this one has more potential to go somewhere, but I think also the suspension needs more work from the off on this one because it was rolling all over the place. Yeah. So there's some adjustment to be made. You can buy the Carnage anti-sway bars for the front, which will help slightly. This has anti-sway bars in the back, where you can get the alloy upgrade parts, which are the same, but it reduces the flex of the plastic parts, so they do work a little bit better.
Maybe stiffer springs or something.
Stiffer springs maybe as well.
So it doesn't lean as much.
Yeah, I mean there's stuff you can do. There's always stuff you can do, but you're never going to cure the inherent problems with an Outlaw chassis or this sort of chassis rolling around because that's just what they do. But on the gravel and the grit or sand or whatever, this is more at home.
Yeah. That's
more at home on tarmac or grass, I would say.
Yeah.
So depending on where you would run it.
So you asked me, what do you prefer between them?
I've got to give it a draw because that one's build quality is a bit poorer with the wobble of the wheels and the wobble of the drive shafts.
Yeah.
This one feels a little bit more, not sturdy because it's not as heavy, but the components feel screwed together slightly better.
Yeah, because there is quite a bit of weight to this.
Yeah, there is, yeah. The thing is, you can't just ask yourself, when you're reviewing a truck like these, they're different. You can't just go, which one do you prefer? I think you have to ask yourself, would you buy this one or either of them? Would you, let me rephrase that. As you yourself, as you are now with the collection you currently have, would you buy either of them? Okay. As a newbie who has no RC at all, because bear in mind these are aimed at the beginners, would you buy either of them? or if you're maybe slightly, I think for example, if you had to buy a nitro or you had to buy an electric.
Yeah.
So there's a few ways to look at it.
I think as a beginner, I would say it would be easier to run the brushed, because this has a bigger process to get it going.
It does.
I think you have to be sort of a little bit more knowledgeable with RCs to have a nitro than just jumping straight into it.
Yeah, I think for me, if I was a noob to the RC hobby and I didn't have one, again, yeah, I would definitely go electric. If you're new to the RC hobby completely, I would go to electric. However, this wouldn't necessarily be my first choice of electric. However, if I was determined on a nitro, that would be my first choice of nitro.
Yeah.
The reason being is it's basically the cheapest nitro you can get in the UK without going Banggood or something, you know. And the force engine that's in that is actually a very good engine. So it's sort of the same engine you'd get on a more expensive HPI. So it's about as good as you'll get for your money if you were definitely set on a nitro. That would be my nitro of choice. This might not be my electric of choice. I do like it, but there's a lot to choose from in the entry-level market for electric. Some with this setup, some with independent suspension all round, and you would really need to think about where you want to use it and how you want to use it before you decided on it. For me now, with the collection I have, I wouldn't buy this because I already have models that are better than this, because this is an entry-level model, and I actually already have an Outlaw, which is the same truck.
It's the same truck, yeah.
I would consider that if I was looking at a nitro now.
Yeah.
But with the experience I've gained with it, I would probably save up more and get a Hong Nor or a Hyper, a Hobile Hyper or a Hong Nor, because they're just that extra level now.
Yeah.
But this is the perfect starter nitro.
Yeah, no, this for me, that I didn't have to go through the phase of obviously running it in, but driving it it's actually a blast.
It's
it
great.
Goes really well.
It goes so well.
Very fast.
It's about the same speed as your 3-cell Blitz,
Yeah.
roughly.
Yeah.
And that's saying something, because they go like stink.
They're very quick.
Yeah.
And the only thing this could, potentially be improved on is just the turning circle. But apart from that, it goes really well. It drives nice. Brakes a bit of a killer, but you could get used to that.
I like it though, because it skips the back wheels in the air, and it's all right.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
I suppose you get used to it, but yeah, I would say it's a pretty nice little truck.
So would you buy it?
I think I'm in the same position as you. If I was going for an entry level and a cheap nitro, this
If
would
it had to be a nitro, would that be your choice?
If it had to be a nitro, after I'm kind of similar in terms of what you were saying. Like I might get something slightly better than an entry level one.
But if you were definitely looking at an entry level,
if I was definitely looking at an entry level, I would go for this. Yeah.
In a heartbeat, I'd get that, no problem. The price point is something worth discussing. That's £210 retail plus the accessories. You got to get the fuel, you got to get the fuel bottle, you got to get the starter, you got to get, the starter comes with the charger, and you got to get the tool for taking the glow plug out.
Yeah.
And then you have to buy a new glow plug once it's running. So to get this perfect, you're talking somewhere £240, £250.
Yeah.
This retails at around about 150, 160. So you're not far off 100 quid less. You could make one of these brushless for the price of that one.
Yeah, and
so
maybe a little bit of change.
With that in mind, where do you stand now?
If you had to make that brushless, and you're talking about it'll be about the £200 mark, and say this is for an extra £50 to get something different, I would still pick the nitro.
You would, yeah?
Yeah, because it's a nitro.
So
because personally I have the Outlaw, which is similar.
Okay, so but say you're a newbie with no collection and you want a brushless one, or you want a fast one, not brushless, you want a fast one. Yeah. That's 250 ready to run with everything. Yeah. Let's say this is 220 or 210, and bear in mind you don't have any RCs.
Yeah, yeah.
Which one would you go for?
I would probably go brushless, just if you're a newbie. Brushless, and the only thing is, with the more power, that one probably would be a lot harder to handle than this would be.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of struggling.
I'm struggling too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think from experience, we both have brushless Outlaws. Yeah. This platform can be an absolute blast. It can be so much fun. And I on something like where we have here with the grit and the gravel and the stones, this is going to be awesome fun with loads of power.
Yeah.
So I'd be more inclined to spend 200, 210 on a brushless one of these than 250 on a Nitro one of those. But if it had to be a Nitro, I would pick that. But this still wouldn't be my first choice of brushless electric car. Now let's talk about this overheating issue. The motor got stupid hot on this, and it conked out and lost power.
It's a bit bad actually, because it's the type of motor it's like it's a closed case motor, but it's got the cooling fan on it, which we've found even just on our RC boats that helps.
Makes
a
a
lot
huge
with
difference.
cooling.
But that 550 gets hot. It got hot in the Outlaw to the point that even just a couple of passes and it would shut off. This is better with the smaller tyres and wheels, which means the gearing's lower, so it lasted a lot longer. It lasted 15 minutes before it, but it still did shut down. And that's with the better speedo than the Outlaw used to have. So there is a bit of an issue. I think it's probably this 60 amp speedo will be fine. The speedo was fine. I think it's the motor.
Yeah, the motor was roasting hot.
Some people have no problems with their Outlaws and therefore their Zorros, but that's something to be aware of. You might need to upgrade the motor sooner rather than later if you plan on, you know, having this long term and having a lot of fun with it. It's one of these things.
If you were going for that, I would recommend brushless though, because you would get the perks of everything. Because you don't necessarily get the same overheating problems because it can put out a lot more power.
Yeah, and from the box, bear in mind it runs with it comes with an 1800 nickel metal hydride. That battery would have been flat before this got hot.
Yeah, that's true.
That battery wouldn't have been spinning as hard anyway, because the nickel metal hydride's got less less kick than a lipo, so that wouldn't have been a problem, I don't think.
No.
But it's something just to be aware of.
So
I don't know. I'm leaning towards slightly preferring this one, but it's funny because even though I prefer this one, it wouldn't be my first choice of electric, but that one would be my first choice of Nitro.
No, I'm the exact same. I love the Nitro actually. That's really grown. I didn't think I would like it as much, but just having a Nitro engine, you can hear it, you can see it. There's obviously perks to each one. Like that takes off a lot better than this does. This gets bogged down now and again.
But it takes off quicker, but it very quickly gets overhauled.
Yes, this
very quickly. That thing shoots past it.
Much faster.
I had a conversation with my friends Callum and Stuart, and they brought up a good couple of things, because I've got to say I really respect Nitro owners because they knowingly pay more. Nitro's more expensive. It's more expensive to keep maintained as well because fuel's expensive. Batteries last for 2 or 3 years. Nitro fuel runs out all the time. It's more expensive to buy it in the first place. It's more hassle. There's lots of tuning, but they put up with all of that for the Nitro experience. They want the smoke and the noise, and they want actually having an engine. And I really get that. As a petrol head, I really understand that, and I respect that. Callum put a good point. He says electrics are faster. Brushless electrics are faster, and they're less hassle. But the Nitro's worth more than the sum of its parts because it's about the experience. I get that. And Stuart was even more simple. I said the thing about a Nitro is you can spend all this time tweaking it and you can get it running and you can get it all tuned up nice. But then your mate in the brushless one's still going to wheelie past it. He said, "Yeah, but engine." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, engine. I get it. I do get it. I do get it. But it's not. It hasn't swayed me away from electric."
No, I'm the same. I love the instant drive and the power you can get.
And hassle free.
The hassle
free power.
You don't need to take off or to try and get started. I mean, I would quickly get fed up if I couldn't start this.
Once the novelty run off. But then we're getting off topic here slightly because we're talking about Nitros in general rather than that Nitro. Really, at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, where are you planning to use these things? If you're using it in a built-up area, probably not a good idea to go for a Nitro. You'll annoy people. If you have a high grip surface, like you're only going tarmac or you're going short grass, probably not a good idea to go for this platform because it'll roll over. Unless you're willing to put a little bit of time practicing to try and corner it right, because you can drive around it and you can tweak. You know, you get the sway bars. You can get the upgraded sway bars for this. You can play around with the suspension, try and get it a bit more. You know, if you're in the city and you're constantly on the road and that's your only choice is the road, get a touring car or a truggy.
It doesn't have to be that platform.
No. If you're on a sort of more gritty gravel thing, like a farm road or something, or you go down to the beach or something, this might be really good. although sand is a bit of a killer. Don't like using them on the beach. There are places where this is going to be great fun. That I think is better at more terrain types than this, but you will annoy people.
Yeah, there's a balance there. It's a different platform, to be honest. So yeah.
I don't know. I can't make up my mind. I like them both. I don't think you can go wrong with either, really. If you want to come to a conclusion, I don't think you can go wrong. I think that's a better entry-level Nitro than this is an entry-level
no, I would agree
electric.
with that. I agree with that.
Because for the same price, if you're still looking at FTX, you've got the Bug Start and you've got the Carnage. Both of them will handle better than this for the same sort of price.
Yeah, and it is easy to put a brushless system in it, and you get a better truck straight off the bat.
Yeah, but the trophy truck setup, with the big droop and the solid rear axle, I mean, there's something very appealing about it. And if you're running on a loose surface, this is a blast.
Yeah.
Especially when you put more power for it. So again, depends on where you want it. You can't go wrong with it, but it depends on where you want to run it, basically. I like this. I like that. I wouldn't buy this. In the right situation, I would buy that.
Yeah.
Even though I slightly prefer this.
No, I know what you mean. The only reason you would pick this is for the Nitro experience as an entry level.
But it's just about as good as you can get for an entry level Nitro.
Yeah.
The bottom line is these aren't really competing against each other. They have the same shell and they have the same name, but there's
a lot different with them.
Well, I mean, once you get that running, there's about an £80 difference. They're not in the same market, really.
Yeah.
They're not really. If you go, I've got a budget of £150 to buy an RC car. That isn't on the table. If you had £200 or £250, this isn't on the table.
No.
Unless you wanted to make it brushless.
Yeah.
So they're not really competing against each other, even though they look very similar. The only way they would compete against each other is if you go, right, I'm new, I want an entry-level car. Do I get Nitro or do I get brushed? In which case, pick whichever one you like the better.
Yeah.
The ownership appeals more to you because there's no right answer here.
No, it's just personal preference.
That handles better. This has got a bit more personality to the way it drives. This can be made really quick, really easily.
Yeah.
That one can stay quick, but it can't be made really quick, really easily.
No. It is really quick off the bat, anyway.
Yeah, but it's not brushless. It'll have the same sort of top speed as the brushless, but won't have the acceleration. So when you're drag racing them, the brushless one will murder that.
Yeah.
Because there was a few occasions this almost won when that bogged down.
Yeah, aye, just for best starts. Yeah, this only had the legs on at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, I think just personal preference, and you get what you want. If you want a decent brushed motor that you can upgrade, go with that one. If you're looking for a good Nitro to start with, go with this one.
Yeah, that's a perfect starter Nitro.
Yeah.
That's the thing, that's a perfect starter Nitro. This is not necessarily a perfect starter electric, but it is a good electric for a good price that's a bit different.
Yeah.
And I like the Outlaw, so there's no reason why I wouldn't like this.
Yeah.
And it does look cool.
It does look. I love the shell.
Yeah.
I always liked the short course truck look.
Yeah, so do I. So there's no wrong answer.
I don't like the light blue.
I don't mind it now because I didn't like it at the start, but it's actually the same colour as some of the flashings on the shell.
Yeah.
So with the shell on, it looks better. With the shell off, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. You bought an Outlaw, and so did I. Say we didn't, and this was out at the time. Would you buy this or the Outlaw?
I think I would still pick the Outlaw.
Think so?
Yeah, I like the bigger tyres. I like the sort of truggy look. Yeah, and it's, to be fair, it's hard for me to answer that because at the time I do have a Blitz, so I didn't need need a short course truck.
For me, if this was available at the same time, I would just pick the one that you didn't pick.
Yeah.
I would be just as happy with this as I am with Outlaw.
Yeah.
So if you picked the Outlaw, I would have picked the Zorro.
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
So I mean that's the thing. I would consider buying one of these if I didn't have an Outlaw. And I like the Outlaw, and I've had a lot of fun with the Outlaw, and it's finally reliable. Even though I did throw a bit of money at it, you might need to go for the metal chassis plate and the metal arms eventually.
potentially the rear diff.
Well, rear axle, that's,
rear.
I wouldn't buy the metal one of them,
No,
they're
no.
68 quid or something.
No.
Just
Just keep replacing it every now and again.
Maybe might need a new drive shaft if you put more power in it. Yeah, for me the bottom line is I like the Outlaw, so there's no reason why I wouldn't like this. I bought the Outlaw, so there's no reason why I wouldn't buy this, apart from the fact that I have the Outlaw.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
For that, if you told me right now, today, here's 250 quid, go and get yourself a Nitro, I'd buy that. That'd be my choice.
No, I'm the same. I agree. This was great fun to drive. Really, really good fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, and it comes in orange as well, if you like the orange one.
I quite like the look of the orange one.
Yeah, I like the blue one. So, there we are. Right, I think that's it really. Go out and buy yourself a Zorro if you want one, because there's nothing wrong with them at all.
And let us know what you would pick.
Nothing that can't be fixed relatively cheaply.
Yeah.
This motor's pretty poor, but brushed motors are very cheap. Brushless systems are very cheap.
Yeah.
Throw power at it if you want. That one, I mean, it's not the best put together, but once you've run that thing in from the box, it's an absolute screaming banshee.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome.
Yeah, and we rolled this a few times as well, and there was no hiccups.
It didn't even install.
No, it
Not
didn't
upside
install
down. It
anything.
didn't install.
Just ran out of fuel a few times, but you know, part and parcel of having a Nitro.
What I would do, I tell you what, one mod, we've obviously done the nickel metal hydride hump pack mod. That's one mod that's already in this, so this isn't completely standard, but that's a very cheap upgrade. One upgrade I would do to this one is fit a bigger fuel tank.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, because it does run out of fuel pretty quick.
And because it's a lengthened Carnage, it's got the same fuel tank as the Carnage, but it's lengthened. There's more room on this one than there is in the Carnage.
Yeah.
So I get a bigger fuel tank. That's the only thing I would change with that. Bigger fuel tank, and with this one, better motor.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, lovely.
Well,
thanks very much for watching.
yeah, thanks for watching.
Take care of yourselves. Let us know which one you prefer. Are you planning on buying one of these things? And if not, for the same sort of price, what would you pick? What would you pick instead? Oh, before we go, I just want to thank Alan from Tay Models for letting us do this, for providing the trucks for us, and then taking them back and selling them on at cost price. Alan, you're a legend.
Yeah, nice guy.
Cheers. See you later.